right, today we're going to be talking about metrics, roofing metrics for your business. What's important?
Metrics.
What's important? What's not important? What metrics you should actually be tracking, and why they're important? What they actually mean? Okay, because a lot of people, they're tracking random stuff. They're tracking how fast it took them to tie their shoes in the morning. You don't want to be tracking that. You want to be tracking the real numbers. Okay? It's like tracking your calories. You got your MyFitnessPal, you punch the numbers in, okay? Same thing you got to do with your business. You got to be on top of stuff, because if you don't track it, you don't know. And if you don't know, well, you don't know where you're going wrong, okay? And that's the problem, is most people don't know where they're going wrong nowadays. So when you're running a roofing company, listen, you got to know your freaking numbers, man.
Got to know the numbers.
You hear what I'm saying here?
Know the numbers.
Got to know the numbers. Okay.
So one, this falls underneath, the operating, right? So every day, this podcast, we focus on the 7 keys?
7 keys.
Planning, money, operating, marketing, sales, staffing, leadership. So I think there's a couple different, every metric, every single area has like a metric that you're going to look at. So maybe not planning, but leadership. You can have a scorecard of how your leadership is doing. How's their attitude? Are they showing up on time? That's a metric that you can track. Give them a scorecard. Score them every month. You don't have to sit down with them every month, but I think letting your leaders know, hey, the foreman, the crews, we want to let the crews know, and we want to know how they're doing by a score. So was a customer upset? Did they get a safety violation? Was there, did they screw up on an install, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was their attitude? Are their trucks clean? Those are things that I look at on a scorecard for like a crew. And one thing that I would say is having that be something, okay, well, these guys got a perfect score, and giving them a little bonus, little cash money or little gift card or something like that. That's something that's great to implement into your company. And then the other thing is, letting them know, hey, like, just let you know, like, you got 3 months of bad safety violations, or you installed the wrong material, and even though you knew what it was supposed to be, when the supplier sent it out, you installed it anyways, instead of sending it back. So those are things that you can, metrics that you can keep for your staffing and leadership. As far as like planning is more of like an owner thing. So I think you can do your metrics as far as, here's where we want to go. Like, we want to hit 3 million. We want to see
your revenue, your profit targets.
Yeah. But also, it's like, okay, like, how's our production? How's our estimated, flow?
Mm-hmm.
How's our, that kind of thing. Like, those are like metrics that you can score on a scorecard for as an owner, as yourself. And then also you can score yourself. Like, how do you feel that you're doing, as far as, leading the company, moving the company forward? Are there any bottlenecks? Give a scorecard to yourself. Money and marketing, and sales are probably the top 3 that we focus on here quite a bit. So every Friday, or our Friday's a Thursday, right? We have a financial meeting, where we're looking at accounts payable. We're looking at our cash on hand. We are looking at our profit and loss. We're looking at our sales for the week. We're looking at our AR, so what we have out in receivables. And then we're also looking at our project WIP. work in progress. So these are things that we look on a weekly basis for financial reports. And then at the end of the month, we look at, client registers, cash receipt journals, unpaid due invoices. What else? Profitability analysis, like reports.
Yeah.
So we go into a big, depth, really every month, and then every quarter on the financial side, we're looking at taxes. We're looking at, strategies of, how much, did we pay here in taxes, or how can we save, in taxes? Here are some vehicles that broke down. Here's what we need. So
Yeah.
financial reports are great. On the marketing side, what are we looking at, Jacob?
Marketing has a lot of metrics. I mean, so like you can really zoom in and get really dialed in and specific on what metrics you're tracking. Sometimes you can get a little bit crazy with the tracking, but ultimately what we're looking at is how many leads were produced, how many leads were closed, what the percentage of that ratio is, which would be your close rate, and then how much revenue you generated from that, and then what were the profitability of those jobs ultimately. So that's what matters the most is...
Can I add one on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that I think that a lot of business owners miss is how many appointments were set. That metric's very important because if you have, 50 leads and they only set 9 appointments, what does that tell you?
That they're not getting to them fast enough.
They're not getting to them fast enough.
And if you're paying for leads, it's a huge deal because
you're wasting money.
Yeah. So every lead, let's say, we're paying for social media ads, and
speed is king.
Your lead cost goes up to a point where
speed is king.
You can't afford to not reach out to these people. Let's say it's like $100 a lead, and with every 2 you book an appointment. That's not very good because now you're spending $200 per appointment. And then let's say your closing rate is 50%. That's $400 to close 1 lead. Now, the worth itness for you, like think about the profitability of that job. If you're making, let's say, $2,000 profit on that job, well, your profitability just went down to $1,600 because you have to subtract the cost that the cost that you incurred from generating that lead. And so your marketing system can have little bottlenecks that can add to huge costs at the end if you're not on the ball with reaching out to them super fast within the first 5 minutes and getting that appointment set, and then having a dialed in sales process so that you're maximizing the chances of you closing every single lead and not overspending on marketing. So your sales has to be dialed in, your process, in order for that marketing to get the most bang for your buck.
Not necessarily your sales, just your, some guys aren't. Sales guys are focused on sales. They're not setting appointments. So your customer service or, that person could be making sure that part of the follow-up and your automation, right? So,
automation.
Yeah, if your automation is broken, right? Like your automatic text or it's too robot-y, right?
Yep.
You got to take a look at it. And the other thing I like to do on the marketing side is if we don't get to them within the first, 5 minutes and we don't hear from them in the first day, we just spam the heck out of them. Hit them like in the next 10 days with a phone call, email, text, like over and over, until they tell us to not reach out to them anymore.
Yeah.
So usually 10 days, if you can't get hold of someone or they tell you to piss off, it's kind of, well, they weren't really serious about getting a roof. So
they weren't. Some people feel weird about spam, quote unquote, spamming people.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, you run a business. They opted in to talk to you, and then now they don't want to talk to you. Yeah. So they need to help at some point. Yeah. So I'm the same way. Like I'll text somebody until they tell me to stop.
Yep.
Until they say not interested, and then I might even text them again later.
Yep. Throw them in a email campaign, text message campaign. Hit them with the AI phone ringer, right? That's a good one. So, yeah, so that's your marketing. The other thing that you're looking at is your cost per lead, right?
Yep.
So, I think some guys get held up on this. You know, they're like, hey, I'm spending $400 a lead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, dude, that one lead is bringing you how much a month,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, that lead could the life. That's the one thing. Like that one lead, that one sell could make you at least anywhere from 1,000 to 500 to 2,000 to 4,000 to 6,000 to 100,000, in profit. And then on top of that, do you have a system to create a lifetime customer? So, when guys are getting caught up on how much I'm paying, per lead, like, oh, that's expensive. Well, I'll tell you what, like, if you're not paying money to inquire customers, or if you think I'm spending too much money to inquire customers, or I'm need to save some money, that's this one really gets me. I'm gonna save some money by shutting off my ads. Come on now.
Yeah.
Like,
Come on, bro.
saving money to shut off your ads? Like, you're not saving money to shut off your ads. That tells me that you have a broken system, that you don't have your sales in place, that you don't have a follow-up, and that's why you need smart roofer systems. Mm-hmm. So if you're one of those roofers that, hey, I need to shut off my ads to save some money, then, put the pedal down and put some gas on it, light it up. It costs money to make money.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of a broke mindset.
It really is. Get back to just installing roofs and stop being an entrepreneur. So
yeah.
Those are the marketing. I mean, there's a lot that you can look at, but as far as marketing wise, what do we got?
Cost per lead.
Cost per lead.
Yep. Cost per appointment set.
Cost per appointment set. How many appointments are set?
Yep. How many appointments set?
How many leads?
Yep. Total amount of leads, and then how many appointments closed?
Yep.
So appointment to close. So it's like cost per lead to appointment ratio of appointment to close, and then profitability per job, and
I think profitability per job is probably more on the sell side.
Yeah.
But
the
marketing,
marketing for sure.
Yeah, you have to have a strong offer.
Yeah.
And
then to marry the two, I think you got to look at how much you're spending versus how much you're actually making. Like at the end of the job, I look at how much did we spend on marketing, and then from those jobs that we generated from that marketing, how much profit do we make? Because that's ultimately going to be the golden ratio that you want to, cost to acquire a customer versus what's the other metric? Lifetime value. So those two are going to be your golden ratio that you need to dial in and pay attention to. But you can only know that if you have all of your other metrics tracked. So if you don't track it, it doesn't get better. Same with your weight, same with your calories, everything else. If you don't track it, you can't see it improve.
Yep.
And you can't find out what's wrong if you don't track it either.
We just went fitness on you.
Fitness, business,
mindset.
Well, I mean.
All right, next metric. Okay, so we got the metric of sales reporting. You want to find out if you got a badass sales guy? How are you not going to know if you don't track them?
Yeah.
Right? So, one, I think, how many people did he meet with that day? You got to look at. How many people did he close that day? What was his percentage of closes that day?
Mm-hmm.
Leaderboard, how much revenue is he bringing in? If your salesman is costing you money, you need to cut him and get a new one. So sales guys should not cost you money. good sales guys, you know, make you more money. They're hungry. They make a shit ton of money. If your sales guy's not making at least, I don't know, 150, 200,000 a year, get rid of them. So it's an easy thing to be able to sell roofs, and they're just not doing the work. They're not asking for the sell. One thing that we're actually implementing here that we're getting ready is recording ourselves so we can help coach, right? Like look at how are we doing? You know, what are areas and bottlenecks in the sell process that we're struggling with? One metric is that we look at too is how many did they just send, right? An estimate to, rather than, you know, did they actually close them at the first sell? So the other thing is, you know, the estimate, you know, making sure that the estimate is hitting your numbers. They're not underestimating or overestimating. And just making sure that they're also getting back to the leads, like the follow-up after the appointment. So you should have systems in place to help them with that follow-up. So if they didn't close on the first one, you know, all right, well, we got to put it in place and do a follow-up and see where they're at, you know, so you don't let that, you know, they don't go back to that lead 2 months later and be like, hey, just following up with you, which I hate. I hate that word. I'm just following up with you. So, you know, it's like puke. I hate when guys call me like that.
Yeah.
So.
It's always it just feels like you're trying to. It just feels like they're in the back of the sales process. I always say, hey, I just had a couple moments to reach back out to you in between appointments because I'm busy. I'm busy. Like I don't know about you, but I got a bunch of stuff going on. I just remembered your name and just had some time to reach out to you. You know,
just drove by your house.
And
your roof still looks like crap.
Yeah. And did you ever find somebody to help you actually get your roof replaced, or are you still
need help locking in that financing?
Yeah. Whatever happened with that?
Yeah. So those are some key things to like look at. I mean, really, you know, how many how many people did they sit, you know, in on that day? How many people did they close that day? You know, how much revenue did they generate in sales, and how profitable was their jobs? Mm-hmm. You know, those are the four things that I look at.
Do you always look at it from a daily standpoint, or do you like looking at it from a weekly, or like you see like for the week?
I always look at a day. Yeah, I'm a day, like I think sales guys, you gotta look at it daily. It's like, because you should always be, you know, mentoring, coaching and educating those sales guys. Everyone, I guess, on your staff and your team and everything. But sales is important. Sales is what keeps the beast going. And if you're not focused on it on a daily, you know, they can lose motivation. I've seen some of my best sales guys literally flop for 2 days straight, and it's like, dude, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe their grandma died. Maybe, you know, they're having a bad day. Their girlfriend cheated on them. I mean, they just feel crappy about themselves. Well, take them off the schedule. Have someone else, you know, so they can get their mind right and take care of, you know, what's bugging them down, costing you money, costing them money. You know, those are things that you have to look at on a daily. See if they're, you know, focused, hungry on the money. You know, I think some people get, you know, what do you call it? Flashy, you know, syndrome, especially sales guys. Sales guys get flash syndrome like all the time, where they're like, ooh, I can make some money over here. And then it's like, but it's like, dude, if you just stayed the path and focused on your bread here one time, these people, then you're going to make more money. Right. So yeah, tracking your sales guys on a daily. Mm-hmm. And I love, you know, the system that we use is we have it's a pipe drive, right? So we're able to look at, you know, the tracker, right? And kind of know like what's going on with the leads, you know, how many people they sold with, you know, sat with that day, you know, how many people they closed that day, you know. The other thing I like looking at that I don't think I've ever told you is how'd they do walking and inspecting that job. You know, did they take a full 360, you know, around those jobs and take a photo of the house and your truck right there from the start? Did they take a photo of the soffit? Did they take a photo of the grass and the bed, like, you know, of that? And
I always look in the attic.
yeah, the attics.
I always look in the
you
attic.
know,
too.
like how well did they really spend
Yeah.
time at inspecting that roof
Yeah.
and documenting it? So I mean, we can't really tell the metric as far as, you know, how like the conversation yet, but we're working on the recording part of it. That was one thing we talked about yesterday. I became a master at sales because I recorded myself. This was way before they had all this software and everything like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, you know, when I didn't close someone, it pissed me off. And it's like, well, I found a common, you know, denominator. Why? You know, what it was. One of my injections, right? Like the rejections, right? Like, or the objections was I need to speak about it with my spouse. And I had the biggest problem overcoming that for a very long time, you know. The price was never an issue. You know, I don't make a decision on the first, you know, day was never an issue, right? Like on the first go ahead. But I need to speak, you know, I need to think about it and talk it over with my spouse. Stump me, you know, because it's like, well, what if the spouse wasn't there? Or, you know, what was, you know, how long do you have to speak it over with your spouse? I didn't have a comeback for that. And it took a minute to really hone in that, you know.
What was your way to get around that when you
industry?
When you finally figured it? Let's just do roofing. We're talking roofers.
Yeah, so roofing.
Like if somebody says, yeah, no, that's everything looks great. Like I like the price, but I mean my wife's not here right now, and I really, you know, I run everything through her. Like I'm sure she's gonna say yeah, but yeah, I like to chat with my wife about it.
Yeah, so my go-to, I can't tell you I have an arson of this, you know, come to, but if you're watching this, you've probably heard me, and if you said, hey, I have to think about it, I say, hey, you know, no problem. My spouse and I like to talk about things too, you know. But does your spouse know that you are looking to get a roof today?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. So, what is it that you need to speak about your spouse with? Is it the price, or is it, you know, the roof, like the material and the product?
Yeah, it's the price.
It's the price. All right. Well, you know, look, I don't want to stretch any wallets or anything like that, but is it, you know, is the price something that is it just too high? Is it you got to move some money around, or you just want her to know about that price?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I want her to know about it, but also, we probably just need to figure out like where we're gonna move it from, and we have like different places, but we haven't had a conversation yet about where it's gonna be, where we're gonna move it from.
You know, Jacob, I totally get you. I mean, I've been in the same shoes. My wife and I, we do the exact same thing. We actually have a rule that we actually won't buy anything more than $5,000 without talking with each other about it. So I understand that, you know, hey, this $9,156, you know, roof it's a big investment. And your house is your biggest investment probably, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. So, hey, Jacob, have I talked to you about financing?
No, we haven't.
Well, you know, we have a great financing program. That's something that we should maybe look into. And I mean, you could probably get a new roof financed anywhere between, you know, $300 to $900 a month with maybe, do you have, you know, maybe a down payment?
Yeah, I mean, we could probably figure it out.
Yeah, and I mean, would you be able to afford some financing options like $300 to $1,000 a month?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Jacob, now that you have this and the price, I have to go do a couple more inspections. I know you said your wife's not around right now, but can you give her a call or shoot her a text? Let me go up and finish these, and you guys kind of talk about it. I want to make sure we can get you on the schedule in the next 48 hours. Does that work for you?
Let's do it.
All right, great. So
Closed.
go back up top,
Yeah.
go take the photos, come back down. Peter talks to, the wife. Hey,
Yep.
they can't move the money, whatever. Then you ask for the sell.
Yep.
Or you work with them to have them fill out that finance app, but you got them to commit to that $9,156 price. You got them to okay that price, and you gave them the options.
Yeah.
So, that's like my go-to, like
Yeah.
in the roofing industry, that is my thing. That I don't have a different pitch. I don't have, 4 or 5 different ways. Is it like that every single time? No, you gotta fill the room, right? You gotta let them know.
Yeah.
You gotta pull some, give some clients are going to be a little bit more, stand off. But here's the thing, looking at the metrics of the sell and listening to those sells and listening to the way you're handling it and looking at, okay, I met with these many people today and I only got one sell. Why did I close the one but didn't close the other? Did I not get his buy-in on the price? Did I not get his buy-in on the product? Did I not earn his trust? Right? So these are things that you need to look at with your sales team. And you don't have to, go to them every single day and be like, hey, you sat with 5 people yesterday and you didn't sell, you sent them all the estimates, but you didn't get any signatures. You can go to them that week or that month and be like, hey, do you know your numbers? That's the other thing with your sales team. Are they paying attention to their numbers? Do they know how many people they sat with that month? Do they know how many people they sold that month? Do they know why they didn't sell them or they got rejected? So those are metrics, things that you got to be asking, things that you got to be looking at with your sales team. So, hey, we got to wrap this up. We got another appointment here coming in, and we want to keep it pretty short for you guys so we don't overload you with too much, smart roofer, systems, right? Take a little bit at a time. If you want to come out here to Seattle, fly in Friday, come meet with us, come have lunch, come talk shop. Love to get to meet you, love to get to know you, love to learn about your roofing business, see what we can do. But hey, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night, have a good morning, wherever you are in the world, and keep putting on roofs great. Talk to you soon.